Hey everybody. So I'm just gonna jump right into this, man. I would like to talk about um, something that's very important to me, something that's been on my mind for very many years, and what it is the difference between loyalty and dedication. And I think that a lot of people don't understand the difference between those things because um, I've run into a lot of people in my life where um, loyalty is always brought up and not dedication. So for me, loyalty is something that kind of pisses me off. See, I have four arms. Loyalty is something that's kind of pisses me off, and dedication is something I have great respect for. So, jeez, I thought this would be kind of funny and cute, but now it's just getting annoying. All right. Please don't let there be any music with this. All right, so I don't know why it goes dark like this after a certain period of time. That's very interesting. Okay, so there's a difference between loyalty and dedication. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro. So loyalty is something where I've seen a lot of people, they have an emotional response to something that you do, and suddenly the person thinks that you're best friends. You might not even make a huge expression of love or appreciation or anything. You may just have an impassioned speech, or you just may do something that's charismatic, and there are people that consider you to be like their best buddy or whatever. But then all these expectations come in, and this person's loyal to you, and there's this really strange dynamic where you say and do things that elicit certain emotional states in another person, and now this person is loyal to you. And I'm always wary of people who are way about loyalty. I'm always very wary of people like that. That doesn't mean that I don't prize some kind of honoring of a relationship, because loyalty and dedication both have to do with honoring a person and a relationship. But with loyalty, it just seems it's so emotional. There's no analysis involved. And when I say that, I'm not saying that a person needs to be an analytical, robot. I'm saying that there's no consciousness there. It's just people, you do a few things, a person has a few emotions about what you've done, and then all of a sudden now loyalty is expected. And the thing is, for me, I've just been through a lot of different things in my life where I've gotten burned a lot. And to me, loyalty is not something that's easy won just because someone gives you compliments, or because someone does something for you. You can be grateful for what someone does for you, but that doesn't necessarily end in loyalty. Loyalty is something that is much more deeply won. Um, for me. And so what has a lot more respect, the concept that has a lot more respect for me, is dedication. Because dedication, at least in my perspective, it implies a certain degree of conscious action, conscious decision, that you are going to make the decision to honor another person and honor the relationship from a space of being aware of what you're doing. Loyalty is more like emotional. It's just, oh, I'm just gonna, just because. And it's like usually when you talk about loyalty, you're talking about people who say, well, I'm just gonna do this for you because of this, because we're this, or because we're that, or because we did this or we did that. And while that feels really good, many times what I've seen is that I march to the beat of my own drum, and I have another idea of what loyalty is. And I've also had a history of getting burned. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I've always been, innocent. but I can tell you for sure that I've been burned, and I've been burned by people who consider themselves to be loyal to me. And then when you call people on the carpet, then all of a sudden they're mum's the word, and or they want you to be mum's the word. And so I know I dealt with a lot of shit people. It's only shit people act like that. Real people would, listen to you and, deal with you in a mature way. But dealing with a lot of shit people in my life has affected my awareness, and I know that that's something that I have to, move through and integrate and, do the shadow work for that. It's created a lot of trust issues in me. And so what I have essentially ended up doing is not cutting people, not completely losing my faith in humanity, but the chance that people get is one of intense, what's the word that, oh God, I can't even think of the word right now. But you go through a process of being vetted. Yeah, that's the word, vetted. You go through a process of being vetted, and it's not something where, Jesus, did I have something in my fucking teeth? Sorry about that, guys. But it's a process of being vetted. And the vetting process is not something that just happens over a period of weeks or even months. It might take years. And it's not just to say that there's a spotlight on you all the time. It just means that there are certain things that I want to experience in a relationship: respect, listening. Communicating is a big, if there isn't a willingness, a true willingness to sit down and actually communicate about things, that's a deal breaker. We're done. If a person, because to me it's I understand people want to do what they want to do, but if you actually value a relationship, then you actually want to sit down and communicate, and it doesn't mean in a civil fashion, you know what I'm saying? And if there isn't a willingness to do that, and that's something that I sense, that's a deal breaker. We're done. It's over. And another thing, I don't tolerate just blatant disrespect and thinking that it's cool. That's not cool. That's not something that, at least that's not something that I think I would do. Anytime that I felt, but that's a whole other topic. I'm really talking about loyalty and dedication. And that's why, to me, dedication is the more powerful thing, and loyalty should come after dedication. Because in relationships, it is about the management of emotion. And it's not just about intimate relationships, it's about any relationship that has evoked strong feelings in you and has inspired you to honor that person, and and to get closer to that person. And so loyalty is sometimes, it seems like the next step. Okay, you did that for me, then I'm just going to do that for you. And I'm not saying that loyalty is wrong. I'm saying that in my experience, I've seen people kind of pledge their loyalty too soon for my time frame. And that's a problem, because when people demonstrate loyalty too soon for me, and it's like you say, hey man, I understand you feel this way about me, but I'm not ready to do that just yet. And while I probably should have done that anyway, for me it's very important that people understand where I'm coming from. It's like I still honor the relationship on a certain level. There's a certain degree of dedication that I have, but loyalty, as far as am I gonna jump in front of a bullet for you, that's a hell no. I'm not doing that for people just because we smiled and had a good conversation, or even if you bought me food, or if you, it's just going to require more than that. And it requires a certain degree of understanding how I move. And if you don't understand, being very cool about it. But that dedication is really the key, because loyalty is so emotional, and it's so emotionally charged, that if someone doesn't reciprocate in a way that you deem as right and loyal, then it's an incendiary way to go about having relationships. It's very incendiary, because another person may have another idea of what loyalty actually is, and when that that loyalty bug gets awakened within that person. Like for one person, it may happen, 3 months into getting to know someone, but for the other person, it may happen 6, 9 months in. And so there needs to be a true understanding, and there needs to, like, as a basis, both people need to be generally effective communicators as far as what they are feeling and what they're perceiving, and they need to be self-aware, which I believe has a lot to do with being an effective communicator. If you're self-aware, then then you're more likely to be able to communicate effectively. If you know who you are and what you like and why you like it, well, then you're able to effectively communicate that. Most people are not self-aware. And so many people who are loyal are not self-aware, and so they don't really know themselves. They just have this series of expectations. It's almost like, if you would allow me to get a little bit edgy here, using some inappropriate words, but it's almost like, and this may not be a fair example, but if you're someone that, if you're a man or a woman and you fuck someone of the sex that you're attracted to so good that you have evoked their emotions to, like, next day they're cooking you breakfast, the next day they're texting. They might text, they're not quite clingy, but they're texting you a little bit more than you're comfortable. They're, doing certain things that it's just a little bit, it's like, I know I fucked you good, but, but for them, it's like you tapped their emotions on a particular level, and if they don't have the awareness of, and I'm not saying that it's an easy space to be in, especially if you're not used to being, you're not used to those emotions being brought out of you through the sexual act. But if that's the case, then if the person doesn't at least have an awareness of, even if this person has awakened certain emotions in me, I have to do some kind of conscious work to make sure that, and it doesn't mean clamp down your emotions. It just means that you're doing the best that you can to be vigilant and be self-aware and to communicate effectively. Instead of just saying, I'm loyal to you, I just want you. Because let's break it down. It's like, if we're talking about sex, you just need the right person to come in, and if you're the person who's the right person, and you just need to, but let's make it personal. Let's make it about you. All you need is the right person to come in and fuck your brains out and fuck you like no one's ever fucked you, and make you reach levels of yourself that you've never reached, to really get you on some crazy shit. So the thing is, I'm not even saying that it's necessarily easy to do, but I'm saying for a lot of people, it's like all of a sudden now we're one and I'm dedicated to you, and it's like that, and that may be a bad example, because it's like, the truth of the matter is, you should really be more conscious of when you fuck somebody like that, or when you want to get fucked like that. That should be a very conscious decision. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take whatever tools and knowledge I have, and I'm gonna take it to another level. That should be way down the line. But it's just for the sake of saying, if you evoke a particular emotional state in someone, or that person evokes a particular emotional state in you, that doesn't necessarily mean that loyalty needs to be developed. There are a lot of women and there are a lot of men who, are being, if we're staying in the realm of sex and creating anecdotes from sex, they are both getting sex on a level that they never even comprehended, and so now they're like all up in the other person's business, and it's like, I can't even say that that's wrong. It's not wrong, but you have to have a certain space in your mind where you understand that loyalty, that doesn't necessarily constitute being loyal to that person. You know what I'm saying? And so to kind of take the intensity down to just interacting with people, and just because someone says something with conviction, or they might be charismatic, or they might compliment you, or you might compliment them, it doesn't constitute a certain degree of loyalty. And I think reflecting back on certain situations, I think that I've dealt with a lot of people who, you know, I have a particular energy, and I don't know how people are taking my energy, but I would assume that I have an energy of light and power and sex. And so what this does is it kind of inspires people to want to connect with me more. And it's a very challenging situation where it's very hard to just kind of like just be emotionally honest, because what to you is like, you may feel a certain way, but it may be gone in the next 3 minutes. But for them, it's something that will stay with them. It's very challenging. So I understand that dynamic as well. But I really want to hammer home that loyalty, and that's why it's so important to be self-aware and be an effective communicator. I'm not saying that it's going to nip everything in the bud, but what I am saying is that it's very important that the consciousness is there, because if the consciousness is there, there's at least some hope to make it through things and not have it completely derail. But it needs to be very all I can say is there has to be consciousness, and that's where dedication comes in. Dedication is something that requires your conscious action. Dedication is promising yourself to hold true to the vow, or hold true to the contract, even if it's unspoken, or even if it's not on paper, even if it's not physical. The contract, it may be something that's just in the ether, but to hold true to the contract that you have set out to honor. And that usually, and it's best done, the contract is best done with conscious, open communication, which most people I've seen don't really understand how to do. And a lot of the relationships that I have, a lot of relationships that I've ended have been because I just literally did not see how I didn't see how there could be a conversation, and I didn't see a willingness to converse on that level. And I felt I don't like wasting my words. I hate wasting my words. So that's something where loyalty sucks, and dedication is important, because dedication is something where you're taking personal responsibility for you honoring the relationship in that person. Loyalty is something where I see the responsibility is constantly being abdicated or given up to the other person. So it's like, that's why people get mad at you when you're disloyal, and they're very quick to call you disloyal when they never even asked you if you felt the same way that they feel. If they ask you, a lot of people are afraid, and it is a scary situation where it's like you feel all these powerful emotions for someone, but they may not honor you in the same way. It's a very scary situation. So when I'm talking about this subject, it doesn't mean that I don't understand that there are a multitude of different dynamics that are in particular kinds of relationships, platonic and intimate. But what I am saying is that fundamentally, it's very important to have this awareness that loyalty isn't bad, but loyalty needs to come after dedication. Or with loyalty, when you feel like, you know what, man, this person is making me, my emotions are so powerful for this person. Like, and you have to have a good self-esteem as well, so that you're not attracting a shit person. But it's like, okay, I got this person listens to me, I like, this person is stimulating, this person knows how to communicate and deeply values communicating effectively. This person is, this person contributes conversation and facts and an energy and a physicality and an emotionality to my life that is not only stimulating but fulfilling. This person enriches my life. This person has made it possible to do things in my life that I wouldn't have been able to do alone. This person, I can tell this person truly cares about me and isn't just trying to keep up appearances, or isn't just trying to this person truly cares about me, and I'm wondering where the hell this person came from. But I truly care about this person, not just because they care about me, but because I see that this person is truly an upstanding human being. And even though I see this person, they have their flaws, they might be a little clingy here, or they might be too quick to get upset there, or they might be a little cold there, or whatever the trait is that is undesirable to you, you know that the pros, what you want, outweigh the cons. And you have to know what you want. And the pros of what you want have to be fundamental, because you can start getting into micromanaging what you want out of a person. There are fundamental things that you want to experience in a person. For me, valuing conversation is like communication, effective communication. And that doesn't necessarily mean just words. It could mean writing. It could mean texting. It could mean, if you don't know how to explain what you feel in words, generally words are best, because it makes it very clear where you stand and where the other person stands. But generally you can try some other ways, some creative ways to communicate. If you're mad, I think that in relationships, platonic and intimate, I think that sometimes being so serious about every relationship, because for me, if it were ideal and I was in a relationship that I really thought was worth my fucking time, I would try creative things like dancing. Like if I'm really mad at someone that I deeply care about, it would be something where it's like, okay, it's time to dance. We need to dance this shit off. Or if you're a little bit more of like an aggressive person, you need to fight that person, or you need to, it's like, it doesn't necessarily need to be a real fight. It could be just something where you're just whacking each other, or it could be like American Gladiators from the early 90s. I know a lot of you might be too young to remember that, but American Gladiators, where it's like, oh God, what the fuck do you call that? My brain is like off. I want to say tic-tac-toe, but it is not tic-tac-toe. It's a jousting, where two people are standing on, I think it's jousting, where two people are standing on the little tiny platforms, and they're trying to shove each other off with these giant fucking sticks. But doing fun shit that requires the engagement of the physical body is important too. For me, I like dancing. It's not that I don't have a side that would like to knock people off platforms, but that's just something that I think needs to be developed a little bit more, in my opinion. But again, loyalty versus dedication. I think loyalty needs to come after dedication. Loyalty may be awakened within you first, but it's like once you feel that, and I won't say over analytical, but I guess over analytical is the term. But I'm so analytical about it because it's not always about someone, being untrustworthy per se, meaning like someone who has a negative intention towards you. Sometimes people are untrustworthy because they don't understand how you move. And if they don't understand how you move, they're not going to understand that you care, but you got to do this over here. And if you're around people who don't honor that, then they don't really honor you. For me, it's like that's kind of that's kind of a deal breaker. It's like it doesn't necessarily. It's not necessarily a deal breaker. But if I feel something in my intuition, in my gut, something that I know I need to go do, and people around me don't support that, that's a deal breaker, big time. But it's very important that you set the terms consciously. There's effective communication between the two of you, or the three of you, or the four of you, or however many there are, and then you dedicate yourself. You take your loyalty and turn it into dedication, because we all know there are days where we don't want to be around the people that we care about. We're like, man, you are the last motherfucker. I just want to choke the shit out of you. We all have those days, or we all have had those days, and that's where the dedication comes in. You got to be around people whom you think are long-term people. It's just what it is. All right, so I said a lot of shit in addition to loyalty versus dedication. I hope that you've gotten value out of this video. This is kind of my attempt to do a little bit more documenting of what's going on in my life, and but I'm probably not going to be primarily doing that here, but I will be sharing my thoughts here a little bit more, and hopefully I can download this video so I can put it on other platforms and then tell you guys about my other platforms. All right, you guys, peace.